The Champions League quarter-final is set. Inter versus Bayern Munich. Simone Inzaghi versus Vincent Kompany, the only Italian team in the Champions League. And it's a team every Calcio fan wants to do well. But listen, it's a game, just like the title says, Bayern should fear Inter. Now, everybody might be sat telling themselves, what on God's earth is this dude talking about? Bayern have just gone and beaten reigning Bundesliga champions Bayer Leverkusen 5-0 on aggregate. That's nice. But the one thing that Inter have in their locker book, which Vincent Kompany's Bayern Munich don't have, is that defensive security. 10 games in the Champions League, only 2 goals conceded. They've beaten Feyenoord home and away comfortably. Let's not forget, this is a Feyenoord team that Vincent Kompany's Bayern Munich went to a few months ago and they lost 3-0. They went to Barcelona, they lost 4-1. They went to Aston Villa, they lost 1-0. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're going to be easy opposition. I'm not saying it's going to be a comfortable game. They've got firepower. Olise, Musiala, Sane, Harry Kane. They've got firepower in the final third. Defensively, their structure, Inter can get the beating of it. And Inter, they have the defensive security. They know how to put out fire. Once they get into their defensive shape, I feel like Bayern Munich will struggle. But listen, it's a blockbuster of a game. 2 European giants, and on top of everything, Simone Inzaghi, he's experienced in this competition. He's reached a final. He knows how to win these knockout games where it matters most. I feel like tactically he will get the beating of Vincent Kompany. But listen, when the time comes, we will discuss that game. But touching on Inter's performance, bearing in mind they've got Atalanta on the weekend, a massive game in the Serie A. It was a team that was heavily rotated. Let's just say Bastoni didn't start, Barella didn't start, Lautaro Martinez, he was on the bench. I felt like this was a game where Inter just needed to go out and put on a professional performance. Nobody's asking for the 5-6-0. Just get the job over the line. Preserve your energy for the big game on the weekend, but make sure you achieve the main objective, which is going through to the quarters. And it started off in comfortable fashion. Marcus Thuram, player that's been in and out of the team this season because of injuries, because of little niggles here and there, but he's a player that showed what Inter have missed this season. This is a player that was signed from Mönchengladbach, a player that played out wide on the left hand side, and he rolled back the years, picking up the ball, charging. Once again, I always say this about every team that I cover. Attacking players that have the X factor in the final third to create an opportunity for themselves by themselves. Picks up the ball, carries, spots the angle to cut inside, cuts inside, and then it's a beautiful finish into the top corner. Just putting the final nail in Feyenoord's coffin, where they came to the San Siro. They were sat telling themselves, maybe, just maybe, we can get an early goal, put pressure on Inter, and maybe they will crumble. You know how you avoid all of this? Scoring early. And Inter done that. They gave themselves an extra cushion. Besides that, I feel like they took control of the game. And with Feyenoord, you began to see that desperation. They wanted to get back into the game. They know we've only got 60 minutes. We've only got 70 minutes or else we're out. We have to throw the kitchen sink. We have to throw everybody forwards. And listen, we all saw it in the final half an hour. It looked like a rugby game. Inter could have scored 4-5, but just wrong decision making, wrong pass, wrong weight, wrong cross. On another day, with all that time, with all that space, with the amount of bodies that they were pushing forwards, they could have gone on to win this game by 3-4 goals. But listen, Thuram puts Inter 1-0 ahead. Inter, they control the game. Feyenoord, they had their moments. They got themselves a penalty, got themselves back into the game. But once again, you see, in football, I'm a firm believer in killing momentum, killing the sting of a game. When you sense the opposition are beginning to grow, they're beginning to find their feet, they're beginning to get that rhythm, you need to stop that by all means necessary. What some teams do, let's just look at a team like Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. What they would do is resort to fouling players. I call them tactical fouls. When you can see the opposition are growing into a game, start disrupting it. Constantly fouling players, because when you foul them, the game pauses and now it has to restart. Feyenoord in the second half, they came out 1-1 thinking, listen, we are going to go at it. But once again, what did Inter do? They killed the game. They took themselves another goal, a penalty from Calhanoglu. Listen, This is what Champions League football is all about. This is what I mean when I say in knockout football, managers, this is where they earn their bread and butter. They know when to step up. They know how to set up their teams. They know when and how to kill the sting of games. Players are experienced. Don't let the opposition grow into the game. Don't let them find their feet. Don't let them build some rhythm. Don't let them get that necessary chemistry. With Inter, they came out early. They scored. Feyenoord got themselves back into the game. Second half, they scored. And then besides that, after that, it was just a matter of controlling the game, not allowing this Feyenoord team to keep pushing bodies forward, creating opportunities. And I feel like, as much as in the end it was a bit chaotic, Inter knew we've got the cushion. Time is on our side. Defensively, we're difficult to break down. Let's just see out the game. And that's exactly what they done. Now let's touch on the quarterfinal one more time, because it is a quarterfinal that actually excites me. It's two big teams. It's two different brands of football. You could even make a case it's two of the best teams in their current leagues. It will be a blockbuster of a game, but this is where I look at Inter and I tell them, you've got unfinished business in the Champions League. Don't let your hard work of the season all go to waste. Listen, 2 goals conceded in 10 games. They've shown the whole world, home, away, we are difficult to break down. You won't get joy against us. You can dominate the ball, but you will struggle to break us down. And I feel like in periods this season, the injuries, players being forced back from injury and then dropping back, it hasn't helped Inter. But this is the period where champions step up. This is the period where experienced pros step up. Now, as much as we might be all on the same page that this is the oldest team in Calcio, this is the oldest team in this area, with age, there's a pro and a con. The con is, physically, these players are limited. They begin to decline. They don't have the endurance. They don't have it in them to play at a high intensity week in, week out. So it's all about managing their minutes. But what is the pro of having an old squad? Experience. Experience, there's no price tag on that. Experience. Players that know how to win games. Players that know how to control games. Players that can control their emotions. I feel like emotions, it's such a big thing in football that people sometimes dash under the carpet. Being able to control your emotions when going away from home, when going 1-0 down. The best of teams, the top teams, they have that in their locker book. And I always look at this Inter team, and as much as I might say they're not as fluid and dynamic as the team that won the Scudetto last year, this is a team that this season has been disrupted with injuries. It's a team that has been disrupted with poor recruitment in the summer. But this is a team deep down, we can all see the experience. This is a team deep down that has a manager that has the tactical acumen to set them up in a way to exploit opposition, but on top of everything, not let the opposition exploit them. And I will say it once again, 2 goals conceded in 10 games. So I definitely can't wait for that game. I feel like it's a game where at the San Siro, it will be a blockbuster. And this is an Inter team that's now beginning to move from second gear into third gear into fourth gear. And I feel like victory against Atalanta on the weekend, it would give them that boost. It would give them that confidence. It would put that fire in their belly, competing on all fronts. Coppa Italia, Champions League, Serie A. The more you win, the more confident you become. And I feel like all in all, it's a team of winners. It's a team of experienced pros. It's a manager that's been there, done it before. And that's why personally, I have them beating this Bayern Munich team that, as much as people might look at them from the outside and be scared of them, I feel like when I look at the two teams tactically, when I look at the two teams, their runs in the Champions League this season, the managers, what they've achieved throughout their careers, I see a game that Simone Inzaghi can definitely show the world Inter mean business in the Champions League. Now, if you're new, make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit the like button, make sure to let me know what you think of this tie in the comments, and I will catch you guys on another one.